Greetings, Pastor Steve, checking in with you about Leading with a Limp, chapter 11. Great chapter. Dave and I, I thought this was one of the key ones for me. The purpose of leadership is forming character, not running an organization. In other words, the purpose of leading is building the lives of the people that you work with. It's not being efficient, getting a good product, expanding it, all that needs to happen, but it's really about the building of the people, their lives, their character that you're working with. He's got a great sentence. Leadership is all about character. I am a character, I have character, and as a leader, I'm meant to be part of the transformation of your character. The word character comes from the Greek word for stylus. It's an instrument used either to carve a piece of wood or to mark a piece of papyrus, as in writing. It carves, marks, and shapes. So we're leading people, we're actually shaping their character, who they are as people, how they look at life, how they interact with the world, how they interact with God, a person's character. That's what real leadership is all about. Other things happen along the way, making money, being efficient, all this kind of stuff. That happens, but it's about the people you're working with, who they are. He talks about growing character and that my character is good to the degree that it grows Christ in other people. Excuse me, tongue gets tied up here. Sometimes people say, oh, they're such a character. And actually what we mean is they're kind of weird and out of control and we don't know what to do with them. So we just let them be who they are. Oh, they're just a character. Well, we're talking about character in this chapter. No, this is growing the character of Christ in us. It's never a crazy, weird thing. It's a good thing. It honors God and it honors people. It enables us to love God and love people. That's mature character. He talks about the important role that gratitude plays in that. If we know that we have been forgiven by God through Jesus Christ, we come to God and said, this is who I am, this is what I've done, I need forgiveness. And we receive that from Him. That grows within us this deep gratitude. I haven't earned things. I don't deserve things. It's all a gift. Everything is a gift. And that changes how we look at everything and even everyone in our life. He's got this great line, gratitude brings passion and curiosity to whatever we're involved in. I got a granddaughter, Hannah. She's full of gratitude. She's just happy. She doesn't walk, she skips. Everything is fun. She's in awe of everything. And she's thankful for everything. And she's a lot of fun to be around. Gratitude does that to us. It makes us really effective and enjoyable people to be around as leaders. He talks about awe. And awe is just this understanding that, wow, I can't believe that this is actually happening. We're part of something bigger than ourselves. We see a sunset in an ocean. We go to the Rocky Mountains in Colorado and we hike and this is amazing. So much bigger than I am. And he talks about how, at least in the questions, we'll get to this, what would happen if you are in awe of the people you work with, the people that you lead? You see their weaknesses, of course, but you see their strengths, their uniqueness, their giftedness, what they've been through, and you go, wow. You're in awe of them. That changes how we lead. He also talks about this little role about just simply being a character. We are all given roles and characters to live out on the stage of life. God calls us to live out our character in order to reveal something about the character of God. And actually, for a while at funerals, I would say, you know what? God uses every person's life to tell us something about Himself. And in each person's life, whether they were near from God or sometimes far from God, there was something in that person's life and experience that reminded us of the true character of God. That's what our character is to be. We remind people of the true character of the God who made us in our image. And then he's got a key line. You can use it to motivate people, but it actually won't work because it just has to be true of who we are as leaders. But a leader has authority due to his or her role, but his or her positional power will not bring about good for individuals or organizations unless it is backed up by the capital of character. You may obey a leader who has power and authority, but you will not strive to serve him or the cause of the organization unless you respect and care for them. And so as leaders, as we work on our character so that it's deeper in love with God and deeper in the ability to care for people that we lead well, that motivates the people we work with, and everybody does better. But it depends on our character being like Christ. And then he's got a little short part of the chapter on having character. A leader must understand his or her unique blend of strengths and weaknesses, a blend that reveals the character of God. I mentioned this in our session, but in my first, let's say, 20 years of ministry, I served in churches with no staff or a very small staff. And I realized something about myself. After a few years, usually it was about 5 years, when I got to know a staff person well, I wanted to fire them because I knew them well. I knew their weaknesses. I knew their quirks. And I let that get in the way of their gifts, their abilities, what God brought them through, what he was doing in them. And I got things. Everybody has this blend of strength and weakness. I do too. I do too. And that weakness and strength of blend can actually be used to bring glory to God. And I had to learn that about the people I work with and about myself. And then we actually didn't get a chance to talk about this much as a group today, but a leader is first a storyteller, telling the story of his own foolishness, redemption, reconciliation, and restoration to God. In other words, if I can tell stories from my life experience where I fall and stumble, but I turn to God and I'm honest and I apologize to God and the people in His restoration, those are amazing stories. It's not stories about me being perfect. It's about stories about God bringing healing and restoration even when things went crazy for a while. Because you know what? As we lead people, things go crazy for a while, don't they? We got to the questions around the table. First one just about gratitude. Tell the story how God brought you through a challenging time and made you more thankful, full of gratitude. How does being thankful, a person of gratitude, affect how you lead others? For me, the story that just comes right to the mind is my dad died of cancer 6 years ago. And 6 to 8 months before he died, he was in pain. And toward the end, the pain got great and painkillers didn't work for him. He couldn't tolerate them, he couldn't take them. He was in a lot of pain. It was hard to visit him. I don't know how my mom did it. I honestly don't. But the last time I was able to visit him, they're out in Denver. We just come here serving this church in July 1 of 2015. They said, you need to go visit your dad first before you come back and start here. I said, okay, thank you. Went and did that. Dad was in pain, in discomfort all the time, sometimes pretty severe pain. But when he prayed, he cried because he was so thankful for what God had given him. And I will never forget that. And it made me put into perspective all the things that I tend to complain about. Go, wait a minute, Steve. No. Be thankful. So I want to be like my dad, be a person full of gratitude. And that changes how I lead other people. I'm more easily thankful for them and what they do well and their strengths. Gratitude does that. We talked about awe. You know, you see the mountains, you're on an ocean beach, you're in awe of someone who's great at a sport or whatever. Just, wow. What would happen if you had that type of awe for the people you lead? How does that affect your leadership? Because we as leaders, you can think about the people you're leading differently, right? We can go, well, I'm pretty smart. They're not so smart. That's why I'm leading. I have all the good ideas. They don't have any good ideas. That's why I'm leading. That's looking down on the people you lead. But what if you're in awe of the people you lead? You go, they are amazing. Their strengths, their gifts, what they've been through, that changes how we lead. And also, I would say, changes how they're going to respond to our leadership. Third, we talked about character building. Who are the people in your life whose character has helped shape and mold your character? What did they do or say that impacted you? How did that happen? And once you've kind of talked about those people, for me it was, my dad was one of those really significant people for me. So he passed on some of his character to me. Well, how do I think I am positively or negatively impacting the character of the people that I lead? different kind of question. So who are the people who formed and shaped you? Could have been mom, dad, key business person, key teacher. For me, there are a number of key teachers that really shaped you and helped me. But then sometimes we just take it in and go, yay, 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 and we forget, no, wait a minute. I'm always in the process of shaping and molding the people that I lead. Am I helping them or am I hindering them? And kind of think that through. And then last, we talked about how you're building people. Some key statements here, I think. Think of a recent challenge or problem you faced. Was your solution based on efficiency and profit or on building the character of those you lead? So I'm in a church. I'm not in the business world, but I'm going to hazard a guess here. Any problems that come up in the business world, it has to do with money and process and protocol and all that kind of stuff. And you get, efficiency and profit really, really, really matter. But oftentimes, things are falling apart or something's not right because someone's character is getting in the way. Not all the time, but sometimes. And then can you fix that, work on that first, and let that kind of like yeast leaven the whole dough, and all of a sudden everything begins to turn around because the character of the people involved, they're growing, they're improving. Then I just threw this question myself. How can a focus on efficiency and profit undercut character, while a focus on building character can lead to both efficiency and profit? And this has come up at the tables I've been at a number of times where, one of us as leaders said, well, I figured out people would come to me and I would fix their problems and send them away, and they'd come back with another problem. And I finally realized I have to help them learn to be problem solvers, and then they won't be coming back to me every so often. And they made the switch. They built a person's character to be a problem solver, and efficiency and profit went up. So sometimes just trying to fix a problem the quickest way possible actually stunts a person's character growth or just ignores the whole thing altogether. But building the character of a person, I've realized as a pastor, I think right now we got 5 full-time staff, maybe 12 part-time staff. In whatever ways I can help build their character, the whole church benefits. Because they'll just do better work, better ministry. And so at this stage of my career, that's my goal. I don't sit them on, you better do this better and do this better and get more. No, I want you to grow as a person, take your faith more seriously, understand your strengths and your weaknesses and surrender them both to God. And we're in this together. And that emphasis on character in the long run pays off. Short term, it's a slower process. Longer term, I think great things can happen. So enjoy this chapter. It's a great chapter, probably worth a read again. The purpose of leadership is forming the character of the people that you lead. It's not about running an organization. It's about the people. Because in the end, when Christ returns, the only thing I will have to give to him to show for my life is the people that I've led. That's it. Everything else is gone. It's people. So keep the focus there. Enjoy this chapter and enjoy chapter 12 coming up next week. We'll talk to you then.